Hi guys, my name is Deb Marnie and I'm from Aussie Maille, and this is our chainmail tutorial channel. Hey guys, big hi, hello, welcome, how are you? It is great to see you today. Thanks for popping in and spending some time with me. So today I've got another redo of an old live video, and the one we'll be redoing for you today is the Byzee Wench weave. All right guys, let's jump straight into it. Okay guys, so I've got some sample pieces here of the Byzee Wench weave. I'll run through those sizes with you in a second. They'll also be coming up here on the side of the video. You can also find them down in the description section that is underneath this video. In there you'll also find links for more information, the named creator of the weave, links to our site, all that good information. But to run through these quickly with you now, so firstly, I've got two different versions here. I've got this straight version where it's all sort of all running along one side, and then I've got this alternate version, which is the version I like the most, which is why I've got more pieces of it. I'm not a huge fan of this particular version, but I've done this up for you just so you can have a look at. Both versions use the same size, so it doesn't matter which version you want to do. These ring suggestions will all work. Okay, so our first version over here is our 14 gauge AWG. That's 1.6 millimeter diameter wire, and the ring ID here is 1/4 of an inch or 6.35 millimeters. The next one is our 16 gauge AWG version. That's 1.2 millimeter diameter wire. The rings I chose here were 3/16 of an inch or 4.76 millimeters. Our next version is showcasing our 18 gauge AWG rings. That's 1 millimeter diameter wire, and the ring ID here was 5/32 of an inch or 3.97 millimeters. And finally, the last one is our 20 gauge AWG version, 0.8 millimeter diameter wire with a ring ID of 1/8 of an inch or 3.18 millimeters. So again, I'm going to show you guys the alternate version. I just think it's nicer, it sits better. This particular version I don't believe sits very well. But you know, I mean, if it rocks your world, it rocks your world, but it just doesn't do that to mine. So I will be showing you how to do the alternate version today. Okay, so to start this weave, we need to create a center chain that is 2, 2, 2. So I'm going to use my bright aluminium rings, and you can use either color or whatever you want to do. I'm just going to use my bright aluminium rings at the moment. So I've opened up one ring, popped on 2 more, and then I'm going to put a second ring through the same path. Okay, you can construct this chain however you like, just as long as you've got a starting chain that is 2, 2, 2 for about the length that you need your piece to be. So if you guys go ahead and put me on pause and create your starting chain, meet me back here when you're done, and I will show you what the next step is. Okay, so I've made up my center chain of 2, 2, 2 using the bright aluminium rings, and I've just popped a twist tie up here to give me something to hold on to at the moment. Okay, so we want to place our anodized aluminium rings onto our center chain, and we're going to do this on alternate rings. So we're going to pop it here on our first pair of rings, our third pair, our fifth pair, our seventh pair, etc., all the way down our chain. And because we're doing the alternate version, we're going to swap the sides that we are placing the rings on. If you want to do the version where all of the rings run down one side, then you would just pop your anodized rings down one side. But for the alternate version, I'm going to do it on every other side. So you need to pop 2 of your next rings into your first pair. And then I'm going to flip my work over and I'm going to pop 2 more rings into the third pair of rings down our chain. Okay, so pop 2 of those in. Okay, so your work should look like this at the moment. I'm going to flip my work over again. So my working side here is on my right, as I am right-handed. And I'm going to go down to the 5th set of rings. So I'm going to skip this set here, go down to the next set, pop 2 more rings in there. And I'm just going to keep doing that down the length of my chain. So if you want to pop me on pause, guys, go ahead and finish doing that to your work. And then meet me back here when you're ready for the next step. Okay, so your work should look something like this now. Now this next step is a little bit trickier. So you might want to pre-open whichever ring you're going to use. In this case, I'm going to use an anodized ring, but it can be a bright aluminium ring. It just depends on your colorway that you want to do. So I'm going to go back here to our first set of rings that we placed the rings dangling off on. And I'm putting these down the bottom of my weave, okay, so that they hang down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push these up against the other side of the silver rings with my thumb, and holding that in place, I'm going to separate out those silver rings as best as I can. And with my new ring, I'm going to come in between my silver rings and I'm going to scoop up the 2 anodized rings that I'm holding in position. Okay, and once I've scooped those up, I'm going to close my ring up. And your work should look something like this. So you can see our new ring is sitting in between the 2 silver rings, and it is picking up only the other pair of anodized rings. So I'm going to do that again, and that is simply all it is. I'm just going to flip over to the other side. I'm going to push those rings up. This time, just because I can, I'm going to use a bright aluminium ring. Makes no difference, they're all the same size. So pushing my dangling center rings so they sit up against the rings in the center chain, I'm going to separate out that center chain a little bit. And then using my opened new ring, I'm going to come in and pick up those anodized rings. Okay, once I've got both of those rings picked up, I'm going to close my new working ring. And again, your work should look something like this. Flip your work over to the other side, push up the dangling rings up against the opposite side of your center chain, taking up a new opened ring. Separate out those rings a little bit so that you can bring your new ring in between them, scoop up those colored rings that you're holding in place. Once you've got them scooped up, close your ring, locking them all into position. And that is it, guys. That is how you do the Byzee Wench weave. So as I said, it's not particularly difficult. It's fiddly. Okay, there's not a lot of rings to worry about, but you do just need to push those center rings up against the other side, or sorry, push the dangling rings up against the other side of your center rings, separating those center rings out a little bit so you can come in between them with your new ring. And then with that new ring, picking up your dangling rings, the anodized rings in this case. Once you've got them both on your new ring, close your new ring up. And you just keep repeating that all the way down the length of your work. And you've woven up Byzee Wench weave. All right, my lovelies, well, that is it. That is the video tutorial for today. I hope this newer version is of help to you and that you found it useful. If you did find it useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up here on YouTube. Share the video if you like. Leave any comments or questions down below. That would be fabulous. That all helps our channel immensely and we do appreciate it. If you aren't a subscriber, maybe you could do that for us. That would be awesome. And big thanks and hugs to those that are subscribers already. And last but not least, guys, don't forget to give our shop link up here in the corner some loving and some affection, because that's where we sell the bits and bobs and you know what you're going to need to whip up this weave and many others. All right, guys, thanks once again for popping in and spending some time with me. I hope you're keeping safe and well, and that you and I will see each other again sometime in the very near future. Bye.